All right, let's start out with our first big story. Statistics from the United Nations show that more than 1 million people across the world illegally migrate to EU member countries annually.
Of this huge number, Nigerians and indeed Africans are not left out as they continue to give reasons to seek livelihood elsewhere.
Indeed, and that has been a trend for many years and it keeps growing. This is what we will be discussing this morning. But first, let's take this report.
Many people travel overseas for various reasons, ranging from the pursuit of better livelihood, fleeing persecution, poverty, as well as hunger for adventure and peer group pressure.
Here in Nigeria, no education, they will strike because of the money. They say that no money, this, that, blah, blah, blah.
There are many graduates here in Nigeria now, they don't have job. They don't have anything to give account of. So they travel abroad to hustle for their whole life.
Most people find hope outside than here. There's so much insecurity in this country, and out there, the security level is better off. You know, you talk about electricity, there's electricity outside there.
Why? Why are you telling me not to travel abroad when there's no security, no light, no our graduates is jobless? Why?
The environment is not made conducive enough, and there's that vain imagination. If I may get there, maybe there'll be a way out for me. And they are ready to just brush the shame. Here they cannot brush the shame. That's the problem.
Good morning, everybody.
The comptroller of the Nigeria Immigration Service told TVC News that the issue of illegal migrants has been a great concern to the Nigerian immigration authorities.
We are committed to securing our borders. We have the ideas, we have the desire, we have the will to be able to patrol and control our borders.
Hundreds of migrants perished in a boat mishap in Italy, and Nigerians were among them.
Until we do the right thing in this nation, we will keep on having people taking a lot of risk, going by land, going by desert, you know, for greener pasture. Let security of lives and property be guaranteed in this country. Let our healthcare system be improved in this country. Let our educational system be improved in this country. All right, you will see that a lot of people will stay back.
We have the resources there in Nigeria to be great. There's many things that we can do that will be great. They should just help us pertaining to every down thing. They should help us.
In the process, many become victims of avoidable death.
All right, that gives you a background to what we're talking about. And we're joined now by the president of Initiative for Youth Awareness on Migration, Okodua Solomon. It's good to have you join us.
Good morning.
And we also have Osaji Jatu. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome.
Good morning.
Osaji is a returnee from outside the country. We'll be talking about this as we get along. Now, let me start with you, Comrade Solomon. In the report we played, we often hear, even apart from that, we often hear you'd say that they want to leave the country because there are no jobs, there is no security, there is no money, there are so many different reasons for. But let me ask, is there justification really to migrate, leave the country because you don't have jobs, you don't have this?
Yeah, to an extent, it justifies.
Okay.
Because when you look at what is happening in our society today, you find out that a lot of people need a better life. Graduates need to take care of their parents who have been taking care of them from the childhood. More than need to see their children doing well and be happy and be proud of them as a parent. You see, a society where you have armies of youths who are doing nothing, they will come together to think of the alternative to livelihood outside of crime. And that is why you see a lot of people taking that decision of leaving this country in search of greener pastures. Leaving here to Libya, leaving Libya to Italy. It's a sad story. There is hunger in the land. Unemployment is on the increase.
But some people who travel abroad, who perhaps are graduates, are not particularly hungry, because you have to pay a large sum of money to be able to be ferried out of this country.
Yeah.
That doesn't depict the picture of somebody who is acutely malnourished or hungry. But my question really is, perhaps the issue has to do with societal values, the definition of success in our society. That for you to be successful, you have to ride a car. For you to be successful, you have to live in the south. And if you can't get that immediately here in Nigeria, then it's time to jet out. Is the society expecting too much from our youth?
Not exactly. We need to, that is where the Ministry of Information need to raise a massive awareness on this issue. The churches, the mosques, the schools need to amplify this awareness to let people know that not until you travel out of the country before you become a successful person. Not until you leave this shore before you become the man you want to be or the woman you want to be. There is life here in Nigeria if we can believe in this country. And that is where the government need to play their key role.
Okay, we'll come back to what the government is supposed to do. Let me bring in Osagie here. Now, you have traveled out of this country before. I'd like to hear your story. What was the real reason for your leaving?
Well, my reason of leaving is of greener pasture. Okay. That's one. Okay. And two, too much of oppression. You know, when I see my mate, I'll say, at least these are better than me. And they will come. Okay. They will sweet talk you. That when you get there, things are easy and all that, but it was not actually like that. Okay. Until we got there, we discovered that what they said was not really the picture.
All right. Well, Osagie, we'll come back to you on this because I like to, you're taking us somewhere. Let's go on a break and then we come back on this. We're discussing migration on TVC Breakfast. Stay with us. All right, thanks for staying with us on TVC Breakfast Morning. We're discussing the spate of migration in Nigeria and even in Africa. That's what we're discussing right now. And we have with us the President, Initiative for Youth Awareness on Migration, Comrade Okodua Solomon. We also have Osagie Jato, he is the returnee with us in the studio. Now, Osagie, before we went on break, you were giving us a background. I was asking you tell us your story. What really made you leave the country?
Well, actually, what made me leave the country was because of education. Okay. Because in my country, there's so much place value.
Which country is that? Nigeria?
Nigeria, oh, yeah. Place so much value on people that maybe educate in outside the Western world than even the Nigeria. And moreover, education here is no longer the way he used to be. Because I can remember when I was very young, my dad would tell me, please go to school, study, face your book, then come out with a good grade and get a good job. But it was no longer like that. I said, well, in that case, let me go out and upgrade myself, then come back. Then I believe by then, I will be somebody in the society. That was one of the reasons. And second reason is this. You see, once they go there, if they come, some of them will be.
No, you tell us your own experience.
Okay, my own experience.
Yes.
Okay, actually, I went to Libya.
Okay, so your main reason for leaving was to get educated, get more education.
Yes,
that was the reason.
Yeah,
what was your qualification before you left Nigeria?
My qualification was a SSC. XSC. So well, as soon as I go there,
you had an SSC certificate, and you were going to go there to further. Permit me to pry into your life. I hope you don't mind. Did you make up to 5 credits in the SSC results?
Yeah.
Excellent. You had about 5 credits.
Excellent, yeah, excellent results.
Okay, so what was it you wanted to study?
I wanted to study, that is nursing. Nursing. Once I get there, then I will study this nursing. There's a medical line. And that's one of the reasons.
Okay. Yeah. But we know that it's obvious you're from Edo State, and there's a very good school of nursing in Edo State.
So why didn't you take that opportunity?
You see, I said it earlier that they place more value. That's when you go there compared to this side. Not that there's no good schools and all that, but when you go there and come back, it's like they place more value. And that's one of the reasons I said, okay, let me go there and study there and come back, or if possible, even work there.
Okay. All right, we'll come back to this. Let me take everyone to my wall, and then we have a better perspective to what we are discussing right now. You can see pictures of Africans getting to their destination somewhere in Europe, sometimes, and so on. They get to cross the Mediterranean through very hard condition. A lot of people lose their lives. But let's get started here. Now, Migrants are people on the move. Let me put that straight. But by that, I mean people who move voluntarily, either within their country or to other countries to improve their own lives through employment, education, and for family reasons like Osaji just told us, among others. But not all migrants move voluntarily. Some are forced to leave for economic, security, and other reasons. But let's get on. Now, Amnesty International says most international migrants live in Europe, Asia, and North America. Now, the statistics show that about 72 million migrants reside in Europe. And then in Asia, there are about 71 million. And then in North America, there are 53 million. Those are statistics from Amnesty International. We have others scattered across other parts of the world. Now, let's move on. Now, in 2014, now let's talk about Africa and then Nigeria and particularly those migrants. Now, there are different reasons why Africans leave. One, they say is poverty. Africa is usually regarded as a continent on the move. And this is in some quarters is linked to stereotypical ideas that Africa is a continent of poverty. They say that, but that is not peculiar to Africa. But they say another reason is for conflict, due to conflicts. Another reason is due to violence. Another reason is due to corruption. But all of these are not peculiar to Africa. Now, these conditions have contributed to a considerable immigration pressure. Let's move on. All right, hope my back is working very good. Now, mostly there are different categories of people who migrate. First, the men and women who seek greener pastures in other countries. Second are the students, those who want to study and further their education. Osaji just told us he wanted to move to Libya and then even further to get more education. But we also have others who get themselves involved in prostitution or even forced labor due to circumstances best known to them the way they want. But however, if we get along. Now in Nigeria, international trafficking is mainly, but not exclusively, concentrated around Edo State and the Niger Delta, but Edo State precisely from the data we have gotten. Yes. And where trafficking to Italy has helped many families to escape extreme poverty. Coincidentally, our guests in the studio both are from Edo State. Now, Solomon, let me come to you on this. Now, when we mention the issue of migration or migrants generally, Edo State seems to be the first state that comes to mind, even though that is not the only state that people who are emigrating from the country or migrating from the country are found. But what is that special thing? What is that pressure in Edo State? Because you are there. Give us a picture of why it is very, very endemic in Edo State.
Thank you very much. In Edo State, almost every street has a son or daughter in Italy.
Okay.
Or entire Europe. And if your son or your daughter is not there, it's like you've not arrived.
Oh.
That is the drive. Why? Because most people that want to travel, most of them, their children are already there and they want to listen. My picking one, join your picking over there. You say okay. They'll do the necessary things in Nigeria. Those who want to go into initiation for whichever reason to ensure that yes, the money they ask him or her to pay, we surely pay without putting the son or daughter into trouble there. So, and when they comes back, they will let you know that there you pick money in the streets. You pick money. You go to help me take care of my shop. You go to help me, look after my daughter, my children. You go to help me, do some domestic work, and that's not the kind of job you're going there to do. So, the data you are talking about is absolutely correct.
Okay.
Absolutely correct, because Edo State is in fact a concern to the entire Nigeria. We are not the only state in Nigeria, but we are not the only state traveling. But in data that have been showing everywhere shows that yes, we are the only people moving every day. Every blessed day, people move from Nigeria. All right. Yeah. And these people move from Nigeria, most of them are from Edo State. Now we've reported this matter to NAPTIP.
Okay. Now, from what you have said, if we have to go by what we were saying earlier on and from data from the International Organization for Migration, they give reasons for poverty, violence, trafficking, corruption, and so on. Now, from what you said, it is not necessarily about poverty or even violence. It is the issue of the trend. And if you, like you said, if you don't have one of your sons and daughters in Italy, you have not arrived. So it's more like a bragging right.
You know, there's no violence in the matter. In Edo State, we have no violence. In Nigeria, we have no violence. The issue there that we need to address is the issue of poverty. Only poverty. If governments can pay attention to youth empowerment and programs, I don't think people will be traveling, because and I don't mind is the devil's workshop. People want to be engaged, and we have a government that's supposed to provide an enabling environment for people to be part of the system, and they are not doing that. Then people would like to take the alternative to their livelihood, and that is the issue.
All right, we'll come back to this. Let's get back to the wall in here. Now, where he has said Edo is seemed to be, in fact, at the time it was #1 in the country with the number of migrants leaving this country, but it is not restricted to Edo State alone. Let's move on. Now, moving on, the process of migrating is always cumbersome. For many Nigerians illegally traveling to Europe, the journey leads through a third country, and a country where forged travel documents are not easily detected. Others travel by road. You know, when they start from here, some travel by road, because when you don't have documents, you can't travel by sea, or you can't travel by air as the conventional way of traveling between one country or the other, especially when you're crossing about 2, 3, 4, 5 countries. And from there, they go through the desert, and after the desert, they get to a stopover country where they rest. Now, Libya is one basic country here that serves like a stopover country where so many people go to converge there before they move on to either to Italy or to parts of Europe. And let's give you a picture, and then move on through the Mediterranean Sea and then to the destination country. Italy could be one of the countries. Greece could be one of the countries. France can be one of the countries, and so on. But let's get on. Now, let me give you a pictorial mental picture. Now, Edith, let me say, a man from a southern state in Nigeria decides to travel to Europe by road, but he is faced with the challenge of getting a visa. So he decides to travel by road, and he begins the journey by traveling certainly to a northern state, because most northern states where they share boundaries with other African countries, especially in Nigeria. So let's say from Sokoto State. You move from Sokoto State, and then Edith travels through Sokoto State to Niger Republic, and he crosses into Niger Republic, going through Niamey, the capital, Agadez, and Duruku in Niger Republic. Those are some of the routes they take, and he has to endure the harsh weather in the Sahel desert, and they cross the borders to Tripoli, in the Libyan capital, and they reside there for a while, sometimes weeks, sometimes months, and some are not able to travel across to Europe, as the case may be. Now, Libya is one. Let's move on. Now, Libya is one country where many illegal Nigerian migrants from first-hand tales of victims suffer untold hardship. So Edith gets to Tripoli in Libya and is holed up somewhere in a camp, in a ghetto camp, for weeks and sometimes even for months. And let's begin back to you, Osaji. All right, I'll ask you this question. Let's go on a break, and then we come back to dwell more on our discussion right here. Stay with us on TVC Breakfast.
All right, glad to have you back. You're watching TVC Breakfast, and our first big story this morning is looking at the plight of illegal migrants in Nigeria and, of course, Africa as a whole. We have with us in the studio the President, Initiative for Youth Awareness and Migration, Solomon Okodowa, and Osaje is here with us. Osaje Jato, who is a returnee. Before we went on break, it was a Mike's show telling us all about it.
I was standing by my wall telling them everything, but I was going to ask Osaje a question. Now, you left the country, and I'd like to know the kind of condition or the kind of circumstance you faced or you saw when you got to Libya.
Actually, it was not that easy. See, there's what we call a trolley.
Okay.
There is somebody that will take you from here, then to Libya, and you pay some amount of money. Then getting there, it will ask you, that's put you in a house, and you'll be there. Then before you know it, then if your money is ready, then to cross over.
Mike's show telling us all about it.
I was standing by my wall telling them everything, but I was going to ask Osaji a question. Now, you left the country, and I'd like to know the kind of condition or the kind of circumstance you faced or you saw when you got to Libya.
Actually, it was not that easy. See, there's what we call a trolley.
Okay.
There is somebody that will take you from here, then to Libya, and you pay some amount of money. Then getting there, it will ask you, that's put you in the house, and you'll be there. Then before you know it, then if your money is ready, then to cross over, then all those arrangements will be made by him. Then that is how I got there. There was
so those houses are already arranged. The houses are there.
Everything, yes, everything was arranged. It was just like a ghetto.
Okay.
Just put two people there. Then he will go out to monitor things, go close to the sea, to know if the coast is clear or not and all that. Then even the day you will move, you will cross and all that. Then everything will just be arranged. But that is how I got there, and everything was arranged. Then got into the place, even the very day we are about to move. When I got to that seal, I said, man, this is a suicide mission. I can't take this. When I look at the wave, man, I changed my mind. I told him, I said, no, I'd rather stay here or go back to my country than crossing this sea. I can't do that. That's my heart failed me.
All right, you didn't know that there was a crossing of the sea before you left home?
I heard it. Even the way they said it was different from what I saw.
Okay.
No,
what did they tell you?
I say, by the time you get there, at least just within a night, you will cross and all that. But I never knew that even it was a that is deep blue sea, Red Sea, very
Mediterranean Sea.
When I look, even the water, even the odor alone is enough to scare you.
But did you see the mode of transportation? We hear you have they travel on rickety boats. And
yeah, those yes, I saw
wooden boats.
Wooden boat. I saw they use a compass. These are radars and all that. Say, and maybe even the person that will be piloting it, that will be piloting the boat, might not even be an expert.
Oh,
it's just risky. Although I know there are some risks worth taking.
But not that one.
But this one is not worth taking.
All right, Solomon.
Life does not have a duplicate. That's why I just
the most interesting part of it, most people captaining this boat from the city of Zuwara to Italy, most of them from Edo State, Ghanaians. They are not Moroccans and they are not Tunisians. And any boats that is being carried by the Tunisians and the Moroccans, because certainly Libya can never take that risk. You should surely go there because they are already used to that area. Now our people will tell you that they are compass reader and they are they have captured a boat in Escalating, have captured this in that. I can do it. This I can do mentality. That's what I've been drawn in a lot of boats in that place. And secondly, the boat that was supposed to carry 32, 33 will end up carrying 55, 70. Why? Because the connection man want to get gain because he brought the passenger to the Arab ban. Now the compass reader want to get gain because he's the one to show the direction of where the boat will go. Then the compass, the captain will tell you that yes, I'm the one in charge. I will bring 5. You get it? So these are the challenge. But the Arab man will always tell you that this boat is 20, 30 capacity.
Okay.
Go and fill it up. They will be calling people Nigeria. Yes, boat is ready. The sea is calm now. You can cross. People will be trooping in. That is how you end up putting 55 people, 60
instead
people.
Of 35.
Instead of 35.
Okay, let me ask about the money. Osajo, you said when your money is ready, you used that statement earlier on.
Yeah.
This money is that you're going to pay to the person who is going to captain this ship. Is it monies you took from Nigeria or the monies you make along the way? Or how did you get that money?
No, like if even from Nigeria to even Libya, they will collect like 250 from you, even housing you and all that. Then from that place to even Italy, it's about 180. It's either there is somebody there or you give somebody the money even before you move, so that once you get there, then they will not send the money to you. Then you can use that money to make an arrangement for yourself. And that is how it's being done. Because by the time you take the risk of even holding the money, because you don't know what will happen within the desert, the money may be collected from you and they will leave you stranded.
So with double jeopardy.
Exactly. That's why at times you give somebody money, or if you have any relation over there, say, well, by the time I get to this position, they just have to send me some money so that I'll be able to cross. That's how it is.
So you didn't make it past Libya, or where? Where did you stop?
At Tripoli.
That's where you stopped. And
yeah,
so you came back from Tripoli back to Nigeria.
Okay,
Solomon, where do we get to the issue of trafficking? At what point does traffickers come on board?
Yes, they came to entice you with whatever they got in over there, Europe and Libya. Those people that were stuck in Libya who came to Nigeria will tell you that yes, road is open now. If you want to cross, it's about 3 ways. In another 7 days, you are in Italy. So we give you an interesting, a very clear picture that yes, in the next, instead of paying 1.5 million to embassy, buying ticket, with 350,000, 400,000, you can get to Italy. And the women, the ladies who wants to go, don't worry, I have a madam that will take care of you. When you get there, you're not going to pay anything. Then when you get to once your mind is made up that this I want to go, they will not tell you you are going to pay 35,000 euro to the madam. The person you are this is the journey you're going to end up paying 450,000 naira for. Then you will be subjected to pay $35,000 euro. You pay 35,000 euro, and if you don't pay, that is the reason why they take you through that initiation process, because they must make sure that yes, both your spirit, soul, and body convinced that this money you must pay. On no account must you betray the man or the woman who is carrying you with his or her money.
What if you have your money? If you're going with your own money, at what point can you be hijacked by traffickers?
Thank you. When you have your own money and they know that you don't want to subject to come to anybody, there's what is called tranquil. They will cage you. They will cage you in a place. Use Arab men to cage you to ensure that yes, your parents in Nigeria will release about 200, that's close to about 300,000 naira. You will pay first one. They'll say, okay, now they don't arrest them. They want to deport the Nigeria. Nobody want to hear that. They will send 100,000 naira. And the person that will do connection for you to be out of that prison, they will pay that person 100,000. That's 200,000 naira. That's the first one. The second one, you already paid for crossing, and you're not in Zuwara. They will not put you in the plane in a house where the immigration official will come and raid in the night. They will also give information, because there are certain people that don't want their money to fall. So these people, they create in a separate place, and these are people that are always fall victim of these issues. But if you pay, then they know that yes, Madam in Italy is the one taking care of you. They don't want anything to affect that man because of their relationship in this transaction. So there's a chain network. So
it's dangerous to even go with your own money. It's better to go with someone else's money. That way.
Then the best way, I'm not encouraging people to go in the best way. You understand? But if you have your money and you see that you meet somebody that, like you said, did or the trolley, please, I don't know the way, but I don't mind if you can take something from me. I will hear, but I have my money. Just show me the road. Where he pays, you pay. Where he pays, you pay. Where he hide, you hide. That is the best way to go. But if you just say, I want to go, this is how to go, and then know that yes, you are coming on your own. You've not been there before. Those are the things you're about to face. A lot of people are in prison now because they failed to pay maybe $100, and they're in prison now to speak. They will ensure that they might set you up with this and with drugs to ensure that you go in there, and that money you give to them to hold will just will forfeit.
All right. So Osaji, in your own case, the person who guided you into, did you settle all the monies you were supposed to pay to him?
Actually, yes. Yeah, even from Nigeria here to that place, I think I was charged $200.
$200.
Yeah, that's 200,000. Then even for
200,000 naira.
That's 200,000. Then even for the space of time I will stay in the house they arranged, I know that was about 50,000. That's all together was 250. Okay. It was only that crossing. That money did not really get to him because immediately I changed my mind. Although he was trying to see how he can get the money from me, for him to say, you are the one that it is now, you are the one that refused and all that, but I have done my part. It's now left for you. But I also made sure that the money did not get to him, because once the money gets to him, there's no way I can collect that money, otherwise they will set me up. So I just said, well, when I saw everything, I saw the picture, I said, well, I cannot go. And he was even trying to say, okay, trying to even pressurize even the person that will send the money. But I thank God I was able to sneak out and make 1 or 2 calls. Say, well, right now, I am no longer coming. And you have to put that money on hold. Although he was trying to make sure he put the money and all that. But immediately I changed my mind. He said, why and all that? I said, I just changed my mind because my spirit is no longer there. He said, why? Your mates, they have been. I said, no, that is me.
At that point, you weren't scared that they could set you up or something?
No, even I don't really know what came over me.
Okay. In that case, from what Solomon said earlier on, it means maybe you didn't go through the initiation process. You didn't take oath and things like that?
No.
Okay.
No, the initiation process starts
Yes.
when you don't pay a dime to anybody.
Okay.
And most of the time, it comes to the girls, the young girls.
Okay. We'll come back to this. Stay with us on TVC Breakfast. We are still discussing migration on TVC Breakfast. We'll go on a break and we come back. Stay with us.
All right, it is still TVC Breakfast, and we are still looking at the plight for illegal migrants. Solomon is here with us in the studio, and so is Osaje Jato, and we're back to our back wall now.
All right, let me go back to the analysis we were doing earlier on. Now, I was giving you a picture of Edit based on how he travels, and I was just trying to create a mind picture. Now, in Libya, Edit battles with hunger and other health challenges, as Osaje has told us, and as always, his hopes are high as he awaits clearance for a trip to Italy from his agent. Now, usually, they wait until the turbulence of the Mediterranean Sea. Now, Osaje gave us a picture. When he got there and he saw the waves of the sea, he said, no, I can't be part of this. Life, in fact, he used the word, life has no duplicate, so he had to moving in there. Now, let's move on. Now, immediately Edit gets back that good news from his agent. The journey continues, and he pays his agent several thousands of Libyan dinars to ferry him across the sea, which is considered the biggest risk of the voyage. Now, migrants here either cross the Mediterranean Sea alive or dead in the process, and those we've heard a lot of stories. Now, those rescued alive after such mishap either scaled the long walls to Europe or are arrested and later deported back to Nigeria, depending on how it goes. Now, let's give you more statistics. Now, in 2015 and 2016 alone, Italy received a total of 154,000 migrants, and the figure is likely to be higher because in October, more than 1,400 boat migrants were rescued off the coast of Libya. Let's move on in here. Now, the National Commission for Refugees says Nigeria has the highest number of migrants and within the ECOWAS sub-region, and that the country has the 5th largest number of citizens crossing the Mediterranean to Europe.
Yeah, talking about that particular number from the data we get between in the early months of 2016, Nigeria contributed about 22,500. Now, if you break that down, that means 83 Nigerians cross through Mediterranean every day. Every day. That's just in 2016 alone.
That's a huge number. But one would say, why Nigerians? But if you tally that against the population of Nigeria and other countries, you understand why you have more Nigerians. That's not a justification anyway. But we'll come back to this. Now let me ask. Well, before we go ahead, let me ask Solomon in here. Now, a lot of people travel to, like we have been talking about. Now, at what point do youths or young people say they want to come back to the country?
When they are stranded, when they are tired in the country, whether it's maybe in Libya or maybe Italy. As we speak now, we have thousands of Nigeria who are waiting for free flights. They'll be calling us to see how we can raise awareness to tell Nigerians that they want to come back. Some have met with IOM. IOM have done a very great job in trying to, move voluntary returnees back to Nigeria and also empower them. But the other area, they are also considering the stigma of how this man went travel for 10 years and not come with anything. Those are the things that is also scaring them. But that's something we are trying to let them know that shouldn't be the reason. Because the earlier you come to take up a piece in Nigeria, the better for you.
All right, but do we have people who have traveled and really have made it big and then come back with something, like you said?
Yes, several of them. They travel, they came back, they have houses, they build.
I served in Benin, and I know that my house there was in Upper Forestry.
Yes.
And my landlady had a son in Italy, and he went that way. And each time he was home, it was all celebration. Actually, gave me a gift one or two times.
Oh, you got a gift?
I got a gift.
That is the enticement that is there. People want to go, like this December, and a lot of people in Nigeria is talking about recession. There are people that came from abroad, and they're telling you, come, take you to several areas, ensure that you are okay. And you want to be part of, you want to know the source of this money, and you want to also show yourself at the end of 2017 in December. So those are the drive. But we are trying to let government know that if all these people came to entice here in Nigeria are engaged, if you are coming, you're spending your dollar, they will also spend my naira with you. Now, the only area we encourage government to take a drastic action right now is to, revolutionize agriculture in Nigeria. We organize a program to the Edo State government partner with us to train 280 returnees. And as we speak now, none of them has been given a seed to sow, to plant. You understand? How would the youths now have confidence in the government which they elected? That's the sad story about it.
Okay, we'll come back. We'll come back to this. Let's still go back to my wall in here, and then we have going on with the statistics of what we're saying. More than about 22,000 illegal migrants crossed the Mediterranean to Europe between January to September this year. Busalami was giving us part of that statistics earlier on. Now, the International Organization for Migration, the one they call the IOM, a recent report revealed that more than 300,000 Nigerians, or migrants rather, and refugees have reached European shores by sea this year. A number far below the 728,000 arrivals recorded at this point in 2015. Now, the International Organization for Migration again reported a total of about 4,000 migrants and refugees have drowned crossing the Mediterranean Sea. Now, the European Union has said that more than 22,500 illegal migrants from Nigeria crossed Mediterranean Sea to Europe between January and September. The number of Nigerians who took the dangerous adventure through Mediterranean to Europe within 9 months in 2016 is higher than those who did same throughout 2015, making 2016 the deadliest year for refugees trying to reach Europe. And certainly these are some of the countries that are destination point. We have Italy there, which is top on the list. We've been talking about that all the while. We have France. There are some who go there. Others want to go to Netherlands. Others want to get to Spain, because Spain is closer to African country, the African continent, so it becomes a very good destination. Morocco. And then we have Belgium and others to Germany and amongst other countries. Now let's all right, fine. That's my wall for now. But Osaji, let me ask you. Earlier on when you were talking, you said you raised about 250,000 as a whole. That money alone can go into a lot of things. You didn't think about, okay, if I'm able to raise 250,000 naira, I can use it. Like he talked about agriculture. I can start my fish farm. There are lots of fish farmers in Benin, for instance.
Okay, like that of agriculture, fine. Although such thoughts didn't come to my mind. Okay. And if at all, there was no free environment, like most of the land that we have in our area and our community, that is now is a reserve, that is government reserve. Even when I returned, even with his help and all that, government was able to train us, that is into agriculture. Okay,
so you have been trained now?
Yes, into agriculture and all that. Okay, so okay, we should go to our various communities. We went to go and see Oba, that is the late Oba. They said, okay, we should go to our community, various community for a land. Then we should just farm and all that. If we get into most of the land, say is government reserve and all that, and government has taken possession of it. Even for them to even let the land out was a very difficult thing. All right, so in a situation like this, if at all I have that thought, so okay, let me go to this and that. But you discover that even to have that access to the land, okay, is very, very difficult.
Okay, but have you mentioned the former Oba of Benin earlier on? The new Oba that has taken over now, from what we heard, he is very open to some of these things. Have you tried to approach him?
No, we have not yet. Not yet.
Or do you plan to approach the palace for
yes,
this?
With time.
Well, Solomon, you are the coordinator here. Are there any plans to approach the Oba of Benin for this?
This is still a festive and coronation rites still ongoing.
Oh, you have the Igwe festival?
Yes, it's ongoing now. So we are looking at January, February to pay Kosiko, also integrating with our programs that we have for Do Youth in the 2017 agenda.
Now, walk us through what past administrations have done in terms of rehabilitation.
Nothing. I'll tell you nothing. I have said it several times at several forums. Nothing. You understand? It's very, very, very. The government at that time said agriculture was on his priority trust because he was involved. They said he want to ensure that yes, the road that were bad done by the.
So you're talking of Governor
Shomole, yes.
Great.
So there was nothing done in the area of agriculture. No, even the federal government also. We approached the minister. If this Abdul Ogbe, he's aware of this. He's aware of our farm. He sent him to assess our farm, 16 hectares of land. So we just said youth that organize themselves into a formidable body to form to go into agriculture. They don't have something. They are not serious. So I told you, I said, Mr. Honorable Mr. Sir, at least you should take agriculture seriously, because your ministry is saddled with the responsibility of this particular project. Encourage these people. We are not saying give us money. Give us improved seedling, fertilizer. They are there with you people. They are there. You have it there. You have them in several storehouses. Release them to us. As because we are not turning. These are the challenges we are facing since February this year. I can show you letter now. I can show you text messages from emanating from minister conversations. Is here with me here with letters. In fact, for the past 2 months now, the number I'll be reaching with the matter is since
the minister's number.
The Honorable Abdul, I'm here now. I have his detailed conversation on my text messages, non calls. I wrote a reply. You understand? Up till now, 16 hectares of land. People want to go into farming. They want to end hunger. They want to end poverty. They want to be part of the system. Okay. They want to increase the agricultural productivity. But yet, the government is not playing their part.
Okay. Now, apart from now, let us take it that maybe Abuja might even be very far from Edo State. But the governor of Edo State, in one of his campaign promises, was to create 200,000 jobs. Yes. Have you approached the governor?
Thank you very much. Today they are submitting budget of 2017.
Okay.
So immediately after this budget now, then we can engage him on this. I know the man is a man of his word, I believe. So we want to see the first quarter of 2017. What is plans like on this area of agro business? Because we have already people that have been trained. And this is a program that also took my people now. That is the Anchor Borrowers program of the Central Bank. We've done that. And that one also up to now, it's still a mirage. For the past 4 months now, we've been working on this matter. You understand? So these are things that is not encouraging at all. Government should be seen responsible and responsible.
You don't have access to that, the Anchor's
up till now.
But CBN made it so transparent.
I said up till now, every detail they require has been filled. The farm they've seen, everything they wanted, they have shown them. Where is the fund to go? Okay, where is the inputs? Forget about the funding, the money. Bring the materials. Let people go to farm. It's still a mirage as we speak now. They say, don't worry, but this is December now. So sad.
Okay, we'll come back to this. Let's go on a break, and then we come back to dwell more on the discussion right now. We'll go on a break, but don't forget, at top of the hour, the time for the news update, and Ndiamugo will be here to take us there. Stay with us on TVC Breakfast. Right, if you're just joining us, you're watching TVC Breakfast, and we're discussing migration on this segment. We have with us Okodua Solomon with us in the studio. He is the President Initiative for Youth Awareness on Migration. We also have Osagie Ijatu. He is a returnee in Nigeria. Now, Osagie, let us talk to us about the issue of stigma. Solomon mentioned it earlier on. Do people see you in a certain way? As people who went to Libya and came back, do they see you in a certain way?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
So it's normal?
Nah, yeah, it's normal. And the only thing about the stigma, maybe like what he said, that most people will return, but have to get their feedback will be very difficult. And most of them, even their family members.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. You told us that you wanted to go for nursing.
Yeah.
What year did you make attempts to travel out of the country?
That was some years ago. That's when I was 90. When I got my school certs.
Yes.
I was 2008. Sorry.
2008, and you came back 2009 or okay. So between 2009, have you gotten your nursing certificate right now?
No.
Did you go back to school for it?
Yeah, engineering. Oh, I just went into engineering course and all that, but I'm through with that now. Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't want to go for nursing after all?
No, when I came back, I just changed I decided to take engineering line. Okay. Yeah, I'm done with that.
But why did you change your mind from nursing?
Well, the reason is not far from, although engineering was in my mind, nursing was in my mind.
Okay.
When I was, even when I went through science course and all that, I said, okay, it's either this or this.
Okay.
Now that I was unable to travel to accomplish that purpose, I said, okay, let me take this. That's the reason.
All right.
Okay, so are you hoping to set up your own business or to get to work for someone and earn salaries?
Although, as we're trained, I want to, even into farming, I want to first of all settle with farming.
Okay.
And on that, then
You have a lot of
yeah,
nursery from nursing to engineering and now
because
farming.
you thought of nursing and then there was an engineering and then there's now farming.
We give them a very clear agricultural benefit.
And all that.
Okay.
And that is what we want to continue to amplify.
Okay.
And that is gains in agriculture.
All right, we'll come back to this.
Our discussion on the plight of illegal migrants in Nigeria. Okoduwa Solomon is still here with us in the studio. So is Osage Jato. Solomon, let's talk about perhaps one or two take-homes from this particular discussion and how your messaging can dissuade people from engaging in this perilous journey. I don't know if you know, in 2014 alone, about 1,250 people were buried. That means those who died crossing this Mediterranean, buried without names. Really, so how do you send this message across beyond the fact that, okay, you might be taken out for human trafficking?
My message to our youth today is this. The grass is not always greener on the other side. The picture they paint to us here in Nigeria, man, is on the picture that is going on over there. We are made to understand that when you get to Italy, you will get job. When you get job, you will build a house under one month. Peter got there yesterday, another 3 months he hammer. You will get there to the other 1 week, you also hammer. You understand? That is in the city of Italy now. A lot of people are sleeping under the bridge. We have it on record. Several people. But how will they come back to Nigeria? So there is suffering there. Even from Benin to that place, there is a suffering because there is no way you have a free movement. You are not free from Benin to. Once you pay your money, you become a slave to the man that is taking you there. It becomes lord over you. Then from there you enter a ghetto. Ghetto that you see about 700, 800 Nigerians sitting in one place, lying side by side because they want to go to Italy. Now thereafter you are faced again with another issue of this on the boat, jeoparding, overcrowded. Instead of 50, they'll give you 120. You understand? You don't even squat. Everybody will sit. That is, you match each other, sit close to each other. That's why you also have babies.
Because there's no space.
No space. And initially, we tell you that there's going to be a fishing trolley. If you are paying for fishing trolley, that is about $1,700. If you are paying for this, you pay for. And once you pay all this money, they will take you through this particular one. You are saying there's only like fishing trolley. There's only like big boats. Boat is boat, and this is the type of boat they use. So by the time they will ask you to also pay for the life jacket. You pay for the life jacket, and most of the time they give you fake life jacket, sewn by themselves with tail or there with foam and everything. So people are very heartless. A means of extortion is going on there. God saves people.
Okay. All right. Let's bring in Fola Dele here to give us a perspective on the reaction on social media. Fola, good morning. Good morning.
Salami.
Nice to see you.
Good morning, Solomon. Good morning, Asagi. Yeah, okay, so I know you touched on, the grass being greener, and well, a lot of the tweets I have here are actually people commenting on why Nigerians migrate. So let's see what some people are saying online. Uche Perkins says, Nigeria is the largest source of African immigration to the United States. #migration. Mr. CEO says Nigerians shine when they go abroad to study, but not here in Nigeria. I think it's time to applaud their education system and not ours. Banton says, why fellow Nigerians would spend their all to go abroad and start to work at the fast food place washing dishes that they couldn't wash here. Olue says, there is this tweet by Don Kojo, I think, about Nigerians leaving Nigeria for the abroad, only to go there and be living in Nigeria again. I want to take you up on that, Solomon, definitely. Okay, Chukuma says, Nigerians travel for greener pastures. 80% of Nigerians abroad will run back if you give them a decent job in Nigeria.
Thank you.
Senior Toby says, Nigerians travel the world in search of greener pastures. We're everywhere. We won't have to if the grass is green back home. And Tara Muda says, what a pity. This is why I don't blame Nigerians for moving abroad. You have to triple your efforts to survive in this country. Okay, so I know you touched on us thinking the grass is always greener on the other side, only to get there and realize that that's not really the case.
Sometimes the ground is even brown.
It's even brown, oh my God. So Osage, let's talk about your experience. Someone said there about you leave Nigeria only to get abroad and be living in Nigeria again. Of course, I think he's talking, maybe if I were to take a shot at guessing, we'll probably be talking about the suffering that one goes through there. So can you share a bit of your experience with that?
Actually, starting from the movement, it was not really comfortable. As they will pack people, just like, if I may use this word, just like sardine. Then even before getting to that place, it will take the grace of God if you are not even suffocated and all that. All those are some of the stress. And again, getting to even Libya, they will put you in a place so that you will not leave. They will be able to guide you because they are after their own. How much they can get from you, what they can get from you. So in that case, they will not even allow you to move so that you will not get more information or escape on your own because they have already taken you there and they want to get more money from you. So these are some of the experience. And even inside that room, some even to have your bath is very difficult.
So that's it's luxury.
Why is that? Because there's no water or what?
They just guide you. They will not let you move and all that.
So how do you ease yourself, defecate like and all that?
Yeah, although there's a place for that.
Right. Oh, okay. I see you're married, right? So okay, was this something that you did because you wanted a better life for your family? Did you want to leave Nigeria because you wanted it?
No, although you were not here. I said it before.
Okay,
because of my educational something. That's why I said, okay, let me leave so that because they place value. Once you get your qualification there, it's like Nigeria people, they play more value on that. I said, okay, let me be one of them. So
that can be valued.
Exactly.
No, I think you got us all blindfolded really when you were talking about it. Because if you have gotten admission, you won't have to go through the perilous journey. If you're applied, you have the degree, you have the qualification.
No, even
and
before,
if you're applied for the particular course, you've gotten admission, then it's easier to travel. So
how talked about engineering, nursing.
Yeah, how did we miss that?
No, you see, it's all about information and enlightenment. You understand? And that's where I mix up there. That's why there's a mix up there. I just thought that, okay, and also money involved. I thought maybe this is cheap. As I have this more money, let me quickly do this. At least by the time you get there, they will sweet talk to you. Say, man, even like Europe, it's just like when you are traveling, when you are going to worry from Benin to worry. So I said, okay, it will be better instead of me to go and spend millions of naira, and at the end of the day, eating my money and all that, well, let me just take the route.
Yeah, I think when you use the word enlightenment, I think I totally agree with you that people are not enlightened, so they are. I think let's leave it here. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and that is the point I raised earlier. That the Ministry of Information should be involved in this project, and the State Ministry of Information should also be involved in this project, sort of promoting things that will not, add value to the life of our youth in Nigeria. You understand? Information management in this issue of migration now is the key, because there's a country that lacks full security is bound to face internal security challenges, and a lot of youth who are hungry will be vulnerable to our society today for crime and other social vices. That is why these many people must see how they can help us to spread this gospel, to amplify the ease of illegal migration and the benefit of getting engaged back at home.
All right, we are winding down on this discussion now, but Sagi, let me ask you, if you have the opportunity to travel abroad again in this circumstance, would you go?
Yes, that's with legally.
Legally. With your green, with your passport and all of that.
Everything.
That's normal.
Yeah.
But if you have the opportunity, somebody tells you now, you can travel through, get to Italy.
Even there's a program we did.
Okay.
I even have the shirt. That is, even before you travel, be well informed.
Okay.
That was the script that was written.
So you're well informed
and everything. That is not just say because yes, my brother is there, or this is what this person say. Okay, let me no. Just be well informed. Go to thank God that there is, because of this internet of 18 and all that, everything is made so easy.
Right.
Source information, how you can do this and how you can do that. Not just necessarily wait for somebody to tell you before you.
Enlightenment is key. All right, Osagi Jatu, thank you very much for coming on TVC Breakfast. And Solomon Okodwa, President Initiative for Youth Awareness on Migration. Thanks for your effort. Thank you very much. And you have said you're going to get to the palace in Benin to let the Oba know, and then also try to reach the governor on this, and also the Minister of Agriculture. We'll talk about all that. But thank you for coming on the program, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Right. We'll go on a break, and then when we come back, we'll have other discussions. Stay with us on TVC Breakfast.
All right, it is talk time. Now, the proposed 2017 budget presented by President Muhammadu Buhari is still generating reaction from many analysts.
And they are more worries that the budget may not truly take Nigeria out of recession. Let's take this report on the budget and we get along. Stay with us.
Tagged Budget of Recovery and Growth, President Buhari says the 7.298 trillion naira budget estimate, that is about $2.3 billion, will bring the country out of economic depression. Buhari assures his audience, and indeed Nigerians and the international community, the implementation of the proposed budget will be based on economic recovery and growth strategy. And arising from the country's cash crunch and alleged large-scale corruption, the president announces government's resolve to end the 60% equity shareholding at its counterpart funding in various oil and gas fields operated by international and indigenous oil firms. Buhari admits Nigerians are passing through some critical moments, but he assures them the government isn't reneging on its determination to diversify the economy and restore the nation's lost glory. He is elated his government has been able to change the purpose orientation towards made-in-Nigeria products, and said more emphasis will be placed on local production for job creation.
I will stand my ground and maintain my position that under my watch, that all Nigeria is slowly but surely disappearing, and a new era is rising in which we grow what we eat and consume what we make.
On its part, the National Assembly leadership stresses the need for viable partnership between the executive and the legislature.
Kindly join me in urging Mr. President to add distorted budget cycle and abundant capital projects, otherwise known as white elephant projects, to the list of many things, in addition to corruption, that he must kill. This calls for creativity, which cannot be realized if we do not lose our fear of being wrong. By being creative in this area, Mr. President would build a new order that makes the existing order obsolete.
The judiciary's budget for the forthcoming year is jerked from 70 billion naira to 100 billion naira. This, Buhari says, is to further strengthen the nation's judiciary. The aggregate expenditure of the proposed budget comprises statutory transfers of 419.02 trillion naira, distribution service of 1.66 trillion naira, and sinking fund of 177 trillion naira to retire certain maturing bonds. Others are non-debt recurrent expenditure of 2.98 trillion naira and capital expenditure of 2.24 trillion naira.
Joining us now is a lecturer at Pan Atlantic University, Austin Weze. Many thanks for your time this morning on TVC Breakfast. All right, let's dive into it. What do you make of the appropriation bill in general before we narrow it down to the Interior Ministry?
Well, I think it's also very ambitious, just like 2016 budget, was also is still very ambitious. But we have seen from experience that a proposal is also different from actual, and the thing lies on how do we, first of all, raise the money to carry out this project, and how do we actually get the square pegs into square holes to really implement these budgets. That is the crux of the matter. It's in the implementation. In the history of Nigerian budgeting, I'm not sure that we have gone beyond 30–35%. And we have not learned from past experience to find out why is it that we cannot even implement? What are the roadblocks that we encounter in the course of implementing?
The president, while presenting this budget, said one of the issues had to do with the decrease in the sale of oil between at the time the 2016 budget was to be implemented and now. But people have actually asked questions between that time and now, the price of crude had jacked up a bit. So
yes.
What's the excuse?
No, you see, because one is that they must make an excuse to explain out why they're not doing what
it will be beyond the benchmark for the budget itself.
That's right. So, but the point is that there's not much thinking going on in governance anymore. It's like we have outsourced our thinking to some other place, maybe China, maybe India and all that. And that is what is going on. There's no creativity. There's no, once you have the problem, you need some creative ideas on how to solve it before throwing money to it.
All right, so is that to say that there is no much optimism as to the budget of 2017 being really a budget of growth and taking the country out of recession?
When they say take out a recession, and I'll just say that recession is not something you just legislate out of, or you order. I order you to probe this. I order you to come out of recession. There's a process, and there's a pattern. And if you study patterns like I do, you find out that how this 2017 will end. We have not found out what happened, what percentage performance for 2016 budgets. And I blame you people, the media. You people, really? Yes. I mean, I hold you responsible because you are the source of our information. You need to tell us, how have they performed the 2016 budget? What are the weak areas? What are the strong areas? What did they do well? What didn't they do well? So that you can learn from, you learn from the past, you know the present. From the present, you know the future. So we now know the present that we have not known. Even if it's 20% performance of the 2016 budget, let us know. As at August this year, so most ministries have not even received the allocation. So how do you expect them to perform? And some critical ministries that are supposed to usually give you growth. Okay, growth and, in this budget. Now, which ministries will catalyze this growth? Science and technology. What is the budget for science and technology? The chunk of the money goes to power. Yeah. But power depends on science and technology. Because that chunk of money going on is going to foreign economies. Because we need to import all these things, not growing our own indigenous technologies. And science and tech is supposed to be.
Well, the president has said that he's going to focus on local content. The Nigerians should produce what we eat, consume.
Do we have the equipment? The money is the cost of most manufacturing and all that. It's in the equipment. Do we have it? Do we have the
so
power?
It's a case of making policy statement, but
the fundamentals.
The fundamentals are not there.
Are not there. We should. I keep saying this. If I were the president, I'll just say between 7 and 10 years, and say, look, for us to produce what we eat, like a farmer going to the farm. First of all, you have to clear the grass before you plant. But what the president is saying that you plant before you, even when the grass is not cleared. Clearing of the grass is to have a local content. They are smart Nigerians, even in diaspora, we can reach out to train them, to know how to learn, make all these things. And there's some people in Aba and in Newi that can have natural endowment to make all those things. Create an
fabrication. All right, we'll come back to this. Yeah. Let's go on a break and we come back to do more on this. We're focusing on the Ministry of Interior. We're just laying the foundation. And we have Dr. Austin Weze with us from the Pan Atlantic University. We'll discuss this as we get along. Stay with us on TVC Breakfast. All right, if you're just joining us, you're watching TVC Breakfast. The President of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, has submitted the appropriation bill for 2017 to the National Assembly. And lots of comments have been reeling out from Nigerians as to how the 2016 budget has performed and then going into 2017. We have a lawyer now, Adekunle Ojo, on phone joining us on this segment. Adekunle, it's good to have you join us now. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you today?
Well, we are fine. I guess you've been following the developments at the National Assembly and reactions from Nigerians as to the performance of the 2016 budget and going into 2017. Let me ask you first, how optimistic are you that the 2017 budget will be a budget of growth and of recovery?
Well, as it is, we've never had problem with budgeting. We've never had problems with appropriation, whichever way. But we have always had problems in execution. That has always been the problem. And often it will appear that our leaders, they make some bogus budgeting. And in some instances, they don't make adequate budgeting for some essential areas, some flashpoints. That's where I will put it. Because there are certain areas that are so critical to the economy and to the people that ought to attract first-class attention. But they often we display some of these priorities. Because I have my take in some of the areas like the interior, what is budgeted for the interior ministry and a few others. But then, having said that much, I think it's really about implementation, about execution. It's not really about what you say you are going to do. It's about what you are able to do at the end of the day. But hopefully, we can always hope that the government will do well.
Okay, how would you rate the performance of 2016 in general? What scorecard would you give to the implementation of the 2016 budget?
Well, apparently we had some intervening factors. Let me put it in that manner. The cost of fuel, pump price of petroleum and all whatnot. No, even the cost of the international market price of petroleum dropped drastically, and that by and large affected the intake of the government. Perhaps that must have added to the fact that we had some backlog from previous years, which has translated into what we now call recession and all whatnot. With the recession, not much could be done, and it will appear that the government never prepared for what it had in 2016. And having said that much...
Okay, I think we lost the line. Oh, we lost the line. We will get back on that shortly. Let's get on with the program now. Nigeria's 2017 budget has a capital expenditure of 2.24 trillion naira with provisions for key capital spending. Let's take a look at the benefiting ministries.
Of this amount, the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing is to get 529 billion naira, which is the highest. And Transportation has 262 billion naira. Special Intervention Program, Defense has 140 billion naira. Water Resources, 85 billion naira. Industry, Trade and Investment, 81 billion naira. Interior has 542 billion naira. And of course, education is also there. Universal Basic Education Commission. And of course, we have 92 billion health, 51 billion federal capital territory, 37 billion Niger Delta Ministry 33 billion, and Niger Delta Development Commission has 61 billion.
Now, the Interior Ministry is the sixth highest capital expenditure beneficiary with the 63 billion naira. That's the increment. And that's the ministry will be focusing our discussion. That's what we'll be focusing this morning. Now, let's get into the ministry will be focusing on the Interior Ministry right now. Okay, I'm supposed to get you back to my wall to give you analysis, but we'll get ready to go on that. But let me ask Dr. Mweze here. When it comes to the Ministry of the Interior, really a lot of people don't really get to understand what the Ministry of Interior does, except when you begin to mention like immigration. Oh, okay. When customs. Oh, okay, fine. But when it comes to the Ministry of Interior, let us talk about more on that. How effective have they been, apart from these parastatals?
Yeah, you look at home security. The primary job of any government is to make sure that the citizens go to sleep with their two eyes closed. And that's the main function of the Ministry of Interior. And to make sure that the police, they're well equipped to police every nook and cranny, that anything concerning home affairs, but to do with Nigeria, that to make sure that the borders, everything is well protected, and people coming in into the country, they have legal papers, and even those of us going out there, we know where we're going, so that we don't fall in the hands of the route to Libya and all that. At least nowhere.
Because we just talked about migration earlier on.
Yes.
But there are lots of people, for instance, those who are carrying out, many of the herdsmen that have carried out mayhem on Nigerians. We've heard ministers, government officials saying they are not Nigerians. And what is the Ministry of Interior doing in that instance? If foreigners can come and then unleash all kinds of attack on citizens?
That we are alive today is by the protection of God and by the grace of God. Because if you leave it to the hands of those that are supposed to provide security, we would have been all dead by now. Because Nigeria's borders are the most porous borders in the world. We have close to 1,000 points where people can come in across the country. And, not much. What can 63 billion do?
In terms of capital?
Yes. It is to build walls. You heard of Donald Trump trying to build walls.
Build a wall.
France has also built walls. And, so walling is it's like what is trending now, walling. To make sure that immigration, people are protected, because jobs are going out and people are coming in, causing mayhem and all that. The Nigerian borders is like, because part of these countries, the way Nigeria is, geographically fashioned, divided, is part of a family, a community, is split into two. Family members are in Cameroon, the other members in, So you want to stop them from, and probably the person at the border is a family member of both.
Exactly, ethnic group or even ancestry.
Yes, ancestry, because they're the same. For instance, Fulani stock, for instance, they are all in Cameroon, Niger, and all these places. And family member, your cousins are over there, So it's not properly, demarcated. Yes. So the mapping is wrong, faulty. So that's another challenge that we have. And again, it's all about rhetorics, and we have not really considered immigration and home security as a serious thing that we need to look at. Let me share this. I usually tell this story about a woman that got her property stolen in the night when she was sleeping.
Okay.
And she went to the king to demand that the king return all that was stolen in the night from her house. So the king said, I'm not the thief, but he said, you're my king. You're supposed to be protecting, stay awake while I'm sleeping. So,
wow.
And the king saw the reason for that, that his job is to stay awake when the citizens, that's why he's the king. So he ordered his men to go and make sure that they return that woman, no matter, they should buy her another electronic, whatever they stole from her house. And that is the job of the government, to make sure that the home security is there so that we can go to sleep and wake up with our 2 eyes closed. We can't even sleep. I don't sleep with my 2 eyes closed. Even to sleep with 1 eye closed. If
Let them wake up with it closed. All right, let's go to Adekunle Ojo now. One of the past titles under the Ministry of Interior, one of the agency, is that of prison. And I'd like to take you through 1 or 2 prisons that we have in Nigeria. The prison in Kunto Karufi was established in 1918. All right, and when it was established, it was meant to just house about 50 inmates. That was the intention for creating that particular prison. So 2014, it was housing about 180 inmates. As we speak right now, that prison houses about 263 inmates. That's in Kotokarufi. Then if you go to the prison in Nusuka, which was is meant to house about 180, right now houses about 264. That is just to mention a few. Now, the capital project, the budget for 2017 for that particular Interior Ministry says 63 billion. How will the prisons fare with this money?
Well, basically, I will say that we've always had that problem, and it's unfortunate that we are yet to get out of it. But then, the problem with the prisons is fundamental. Because if you look at it quite well, and this is part of the reason why some of us will always complain about the way our constitution is framed. If it is the responsibility of the federal government to maintain the prisoner, then the question should be who congests the prison? It is the state, most of the state high courts, the state magistrate courts and all what, not because they don't fill the front. They have this tendency of just people that are not supposed to be in the prison. They are there. But having said that much, that's about the lopsidedness. But then, having said that much, it is quite clear, without mentioning what has been budgeted for the Ministry of the Interior. That's why we have inmates die day in, day out. It is far from being adequate. And unfortunately, even what you said has been budgeted. Often, it does not even get to all these people, because if you have been to the prisons like some of us have been to the prisons, you will find out that even for the number of people that are there, the amount of money that is supposed to have been budgeted for their feeding per day, they don't get it. And you imagine one thing, that even if you get to some of the prisons, most of the female inmates, they often come out with becoming pregnant and all whatnot. You keep wondering, how did they get to this level? So many things ought to be done by the government, because apparently poverty can make people to do what they are not supposed to do. If you have female inmates that are not being well taken care of, there is a tendency that people will lure them into what they shouldn't be, just to get their life secure, just to get their to get themselves fed one way or the other. So apparently, I would say that the government needs to look into this. The National Assembly too needs to look into this. Is it not high time that we amend our constitution so that the maintenance of the prisons will not be the sole responsibility of the federal government? Why is it that the state that congests in most cases, because I will conclude that the state congests more than the federal. If you have the judiciary that congests the prison, why not make a budget that will enable you to keep the prisoners while they are there? So I think all of these needed to be looked into, and the high time we look into it, the better for us. But having said that much, what has been allotted to the Ministry of Interior will not in any way ensure that the welfare of the prisoners are better. They have the right to live, and they have the right, just like every other person, while they are still there. And even for people that are on death row, they have a right that should be secured. They are there not because they want to be there. Their circumstances have sent them there, and the state ought to take the very best care of this inmate.
All right, Adekunle, thank you. We'll come back to you shortly. Let's go on a break, and we'll be back. I'll take you to my wall when we come back. Stay with us. All right, if you're just joining us, you're watching TVC Breakfast, and we're looking at the appropriation bill as presented to the National Assembly by the President of Nigeria. But we're focusing on the Ministry of Interior and how effective it's going to be, and what the outlook for 2020 will be when we're looking from the window of the Interior Ministry. We have in the studio Dr. Austin Mweze, of the Pan-Atlantic University, and we also have on phone Adekunle Ojo, a lawyer. joining us. Now, let me take you to my wall. Let's have another understanding of this, how the Ministry of Interior is as far as the budget is concerned. Let's move on. Now, the Ministry of Interior has the mandate to providing and maintaining internal security, like Austin has said, and citizenship integrity, and that's their main task. And these are the parastatals that form the ministry. Now, we have, under the Ministry of Interior, now we have the Nigeria Customs Service, although the revenue side of the Customs Service is under the Ministry of Finance, but administration is under. We have the Nigerian Immigration Service. Now we have the Civil Defense Corps. We have the Nigeria Prison Service. And then we also have the Nigeria Police. The commission is under the Nigeria. Then we also have the Fire Service. Yeah, the Fire Service is also under the Ministry of Finance. Now, in 2016, the Interior Ministry got 513 billion naira in the 6 trillion naira budget, and that was about 8.5% of the 2016 budget. Now, Nigerians have been asking the question, how far has that gone? What foundation did that lay, and all of that? Now, if we've gone and laid that foundation before, but let's move on. Now, moving on, a total of 545 billion naira has been earmarked for the Ministry of Interior, and 480 billion naira will go into recurrent expenditure, payment of salaries, emoluments, and other issues of pension and so on. Now, we have the capital expenditure of about 63 billion naira. Now, that's a question. Busalami earlier on took us to Cotton Karfe prisons that was constructed in 1918, meant for 50 people, but we have more. I wonder if you want to say anything about that briefly.
Yeah, one is this. Our concept of prison, we have to get it right. What is prison meant for? Is it meant to punish people or correct adversarial behaviors? And that is the one thing we have to really understand. And those running the affairs of the prison, for instance, need to know, okay, is it as a correctional center or as a punishment center? And I think they see it as punishment. So that's why in 1918, prison that was meant, no improvement, nothing, not much. No new buildings and nothing. I was expecting that the former president of Obasanjo, when he was in Yola prison, and people were advising him to look at the prison very well.
Because he's been there.
He's been there. So that when he comes out, he will reform the whole thing. But nothing has been done, because they see it as punishment. Why should you, that when you punish people like that, they now correct, but that is not the case.
It's originally meant to be correctional.
Correctional, that's the concept.
Okay, we'll come back to this. Now, let's move on. Now, the 545 billion naira allocated to the Interior Ministry accounts for about 7.5% of the 2017 budget. And if we do the breakdown, now let's look at the funding for the ministry in the past 3 years. In 2014, about 443 billion naira was allocated to the Ministry of Interior, and then it went up to 477 billion naira in 2015. In 2016, it got 513 billion naira, and it keeps going up and up. In 2017 now, as submitted by the president recently, it stood at 545 billion naira. That's the allocation to the Ministry of Interior. Let's move on. Now, what does the Interior Ministry use its funds for, especially now that they have a capital budget of 63 billion naira? That's a big question. But from our findings, they spend their total budget basically on personnel costs, overhead costs, pensions, certainly their infrastructure, their equipment to get, and all of that are things listed ideally. But if you talk about infrastructure, especially if you're talking about the issue of prisons, the picture that is painted here may not necessarily have benefited from the monies allocated to the Ministry of Interior over the years. But we have listed the ministries to be police, civil defense. Yeah, we have the police in there, we have the civil defense, we have the fire service, we have the customs service, and we have the immigration. And there are capital projects to be carried out in some of these, in all of these different parastatals under the Ministry of the Interior. Now, the police, are they building more police stations or buying arms or uniforms for officers? That is one basic question. Let's take it from there, Austin.
Well,
when it comes to the police, apart from state governments putting so much into, especially Lagos State is one state that has been really supporting the police service, for instance. How much is the ministry doing in the area of equipping the police?
Well, I think just like the government attitude in health and all that, bring your own health, bring your own local government and all that. And the police, the same thing, bring your own uniform, bring your own this. But the issue is the template that the colonial masters left for us that we're still operating. We have not made any improvement. When the colonial masters organized the police, it was for crowd control. Okay. And up till now, we're still doing crowd control. You know, the issue of police barracks should be removed. We don't need barracks at all. And have you gone to these barracks to see how terrible they look and the condition of lives? Policemen sleeping in the barracks, I mean in the police station because they don't have homes, you know. And the thing is this, to make the police effective, they should make a deliberate policy to make sure that every policeman lives and owns his own home within the community. And that's why we said that state policing and community policing is important.
But what if you transfer that of that community? You get another community and own another home?
No. You see, yeah, because what if you're transferred to another community and all that, you can decide to sell and buy another home, okay, if you want. But most times when you have state police and all that, before you have the federal that controls everything. But now the states don't even have control. If you look at the police, they'll say, okay, it's not our job. The governor of a state cannot even tell a policeman rather you remove the police attached to him. So how do you want him to invest? If not that some companies, started from Fashola's regime, he got some companies to contribute money to fund a police fund, and then some states also are towing that line to have some companies, have this. But the police even, the welfare of the police is so appalling that
okay.
It's disturbing.
All right, we'll come back to this. Now, apart from the police, the prisons is one other thing, and then the immigration and the customs and the civil defense. These are all parastatals under the Ministry of Interior. And one would wonder how much money goes into equipping all of this, and about 63 billion is allocated to all of them one way or the other. Let's move on. Now, the Nigeria Prison Service has 8 zonal commands and 36 state commands and 1 FCT command, and certainly has 240 prisons in the country. From the records we have, 4 training schools and 1 staff college. And if you're talking about capital expenditure, all of this are going to need to share from that 63 billion that has been allocated to them. Let's move on. Now, the Nigeria Immigration Service has 3 directorates and 8 zonal offices and 36 state commands and the FCT. All of them are also going to need monies to upgrade their facility and operation. Now, if we move ahead, the Nigeria Police has 12 zones and zonal commands and has 36 states command as well, and the FCT. Now, let me get to you, Adekunle. Adekunle, we have been talking about the 63 billion naira that has been allocated to the Ministry of Interior for capital expenditure. Now, even if we have to say, let us utilize it judiciously, a kobo by kobo, how adequate is that?
Is it still there?
Oh, I guess we lost the line again. Okay, we'll bring Adekunle up as we get along.
Should I take the question to?
Okay.
Who is it there? Kobo by kobo, but we seem to be leaving out the fire services, and this Harmattan is here. And if you take statistics of what havoc fire had wreaked between the beginning of this year and now, it's not a small feat.
Yeah.
Do you think they are well equipped enough?
At all, not well equipped. Even is the only effective or functional service, fire service, is the one that by companies, either banks or and then some aspect of Lagos State, all across the country. The fire service. If you see the building, even they look dilapidated, abandoned, and the trucks are there. You call them for this. There's no water. Why is it there's no water all the time? And we know the history of fire even in Lagos, and the previous years, almost every year by Christmas time like this, Balogun Market or Dumota Market, we catch fire, like you say, Harmattan and all that. And sometimes it could be deliberate or something like that. I don't know. But the point is that before the fire service gets there, You know, it's always damage would have been done, lives must have been lost, and all that. Like one of the universities that had fire incident, they called recently. You know, they called the fire service. They came 2 hours after the fire had done the damage, and they started looking for water. I think there's some points where even in developing the communities and all that, you have a point where you can, just for fire service, you know, you can just put your hose and then pump water into your tank and then move on to, you know, to quench the fire and all that. But they are ill-equipped to perform their jobs.
Even apart from equipment, the issue of training is there, because one would think that the biggest resource or the biggest equipment you need when there's a fire is water, as far as they're concerned. So what do you get there to do if you don't have water? You know, it's a big question. It's just a rhetoric.
Just blow siren, because that's all you hear. You hear the siren.
And even during the air crash that happened at Lisa and all that, part of this Dana Air that crashed, you know, there was no access to, and then the fire service couldn't get there. They were waiting for Julius Berger to bring something. Why are they always waiting for Julius Berger?
All right, I just hope that we'll be able to handle this as a country so things can get better. But we have to close down on the topic right now. Dr. Austin Wise, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Thank you. And we also thank Adikunle Ojo for joining us earlier on phone, although we lost the line and we couldn't have him on, but it's fine.
Lost the line along the line.
Hello. All right, this is where we come to the end of today's edition of the program. Tomorrow we'll be back again to discuss other issues, but take note the fact that this week we'll be discussing different ministries as far as the budgetary allocations are concerned on the appropriation bill as submitted by the President. I am Mike Okwacha. You can follow me for updates across Nigeria and other parts of the world and even Africa on my Twitter handle at @MOkwachaTVC.
And I am Busola Meituwashi. Many thanks for your time. I'd like to hear from you, so tweet at me at Busisola Meituwashi. All right, bye for now.
Bye for now.